Doing right here is I am making a base for this barrel that I'm going to turn into a gas-powered smoker. So this is going to hold rocks. It's expanded metal, and I've made it to fit around a bicycle rim that I took the spokes out of. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this tape and screwing it in to the rim with 1/4-inch screws, and I drilled the holes the next size down from a 1/4 inch, so when I screw them in they actually catch and hold it, and so I don't have to use nuts on the inside. But I did that all the way around, and I had to make, what I did was I skipped 3 holes. Every 4th hole I drilled it bigger so that I could put the screw in, because those holes aren't big enough, but these holes are. And so I'm almost done here, but I ran out of tape. So my daughter, she found me a couple little pieces. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece, I'm going to pull it tight like I've been doing, push that up, push it up right here, and so it's pretty much flat. And then I'll put this piece of tape across there and use the old holes with some self-threading screws so that it'll go through and hold just like the other ones do. That's where I'm at right now. And once I finish that, I'll show you. Okay, so I got the tape on all the way around, and I trimmed off the excess with my die grinder. And now, when I made this, I made it a little bit smaller than what I needed it to be. And now I'm going to put it on and see how it fits. Okay, so it fit perfectly. So now what I'm going to do is going to take this, and I set it to, it's like 3 3/4 inches. And I'm going to take and put screws all the way around. I'll probably put maybe 8 to 10 screws at 3 3/4 inches. So then when I put this in, it sits on top of those screws. And then I'm going to put rocks on top of this. And I'm going to put, I'll show you. Okay, there's the base. And this right here, that is my air tube that comes in from the outside. Fresh air from the outside comes in, and now I have to build my gas valve. I'm gonna do the gas valve and hook that up. Then you got the fresh air coming in from the bottom, and it should burn. We'll see. Okay, what I did right here is I took a car rim and cut it 2 inches, 2-inch ring that's going to sit up under that mesh that's inside, and just for extra support. And then I'm also going to put my gas lines across this, and that's what the spacer looks like. Just going to sit in there like that, and just give it a little bit of support around the edges. And then, okay, now I'm putting the gas valves in. That's what it looks like. So just drilled a 1/2-inch hole, wobbled it out a little bit. Now I'm drilling the smaller holes for the screws to hold it. And this is the control. I'm going to make a little bracket to mount onto this intake tube to hold it. Then I'll be able to plumb it into the tank. I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, this is my flux and my solder, and I'm getting ready to solder the end of these. Right, but I'm doing the same thing that I did, capping the end, and then I'm gonna solder it closed. Okay, so I cleaned it up with the wire brush, and I'm getting ready to start soldering it, cap off this end right now. And there it is. The end is soldered up. I blew in it and the air didn't come out, so it's ready to be drilled and put in. And I also mounted the gas controls. It's not the most beautiful thing, but it's effective. Got to find some knobs to put on there now. Okay, so I took that back out for a moment, marked and drilled the holes for this to go in. I just cut it and bent it back. It's pretty strong still. It's strong enough to hold what I needed to. Now I'm going to put this on the inside, and then this hole right here that I drilled, that's so I can stick a lighter in there and light the fire. And also for it to breathe a little bit more. I just got to drill the holes in this pipe now. It's mounted in place, and I'll just drill it in here where it's at. I'm gonna go get a punch and make little dents in the pipe, and then I'll put the holes in it, and I'll light it up and see how it works. Okay, so I put a screw into the pipe on this end just to hold it.
And be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left.
Okay, I got it lit.
But it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. But Jesus called them unto him and said, Ye
I got it lit.
The princes of the Gentiles
so now
dominion over them,
what I need to do is check to see how it's going to do with the rocks on top of it.
Whosoever will be great among you,
but yeah, it works. I might have made those holes a little big, but it works.
Even as the
Lit it with a piece of paper.
Not to be ministered unto, but to minister.
Yay!
To give his life a ransom.
That's awesome.
And as
that's awesome.
From Jericho, a great multitude.
Okay, there it is. It's got both the gas pipes in, and now I just put the grate in that I'm going to put the rocks on. Now I'm about to light it, about to put some rocks in and light it and see what it looks like. I'll show you. Dang it, I wanted the fire to be on top
it is better for thee to enter into life whole
of the rocks,
maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you,
I need to make it so I can see what's going on up under there. Well, doesn't look like it's working like I want it to. So, guess I'm taking the rocks back out, and I'm going to try something different. I don't know. Okay, so it is working. It's just I was turning the valve the wrong way. I turned it up, and it went down. So, okay. I don't know how it's going to burn through the rocks, but there's one way to find out. Put the rocks in it, and this one side is not burning very big. It's burning, just not very big, like the other side. But it's working. I think I'm going to put rocks in it while it's still burning, so then I can see what's going on, and I'll let you know. Okay, so the rocks, I'm not going to do the rocks. I will take and space this up higher and just do it like that. And I'll figure out some other way to keep it smoking than what I got going right now. I'll figure out something else. But it's kind of working. The gas smoker. Maybe I'll put that grate back in and just put a piece of wood directly on top of it, or off to the side a little bit, and burn it like that. We'll see. Stainless steel. Cut these corners. I haven't decided if I'm going to bend them, so then I have kind of like a handle to pull it up out with, or if I'm just going to cut them off. I don't know yet. All the way off. We'll see. I went with stainless steel, and what I did is I cut the corners and cut the little lip off the corners, and bent them down so it's actually like a table. Made it a table, so it actually stands on those little legs and holds it up off of the gas lines. So I don't even need the screws that I put in there now. But I think I'll leave them in. And then that stainless steel actually dissipates. It'll not dissipate, but it'll spread that heat across there. So I'll put my wood on top of it, and then that heat will just spread across. And I think that will actually help quite a bit with burning the wood. I'm excited now. And now what I got to do is I'm going to use the grate that I was going to use in the bottom. I'm going to make a place for it like right around the middle here. And if I can find another steel rim, I'd like to make a second rack that goes up here closer to the top. So I'll have one in the middle, one at the top. That'll be awesome. We'll see what happens. I just put in the temperature gauge. Goes up to 700 degrees. I just drilled the 2 holes and bolted it in. Just like that. Pretty simple. So now I'm getting ready. I think I'm about ready to test this thing and see how it does. I think I might even try it with a pizza. Put a pizza in here and see how it works as an oven. But before I do that, I need to make a cap for this so I can control the air going in and out, the air going in through here. So I'm gonna make a cap for this that will, I think I'm gonna make it so it attaches to this bolt and I can just swing it back and forth to open and close it as I need to. That's the plan. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I did my flap. Basically what I did is I just put a washer on the bottom of the bolt that was sticking up out of there, put one on the top, then I put this bolt and a washer, and then this is the handle to open and close it. And so this bolt is a little bit loose, and I didn't put this one all the way tight, but it fits. It's pretty snug. And then I put a piece of rubber on here because it was a little bit loose to tighten that up so it holds a little bit better. And I got my flap to adjust my air mixture. And so I'm going to go get a pizza pan, and I'm going to see how the pizza pan fits inside of here. And I'm going to try to smoke a pizza with some pecan shells and see how it comes out. Yeah, I might not even actually smoke it, but I do want to put a little bit of pecan shells on this tray to see how it smokes, if it's going to do like I need to do or what kind of adjustments I need to make. So I will put some smoke in there, but not exactly smoking the pizza. So I just did 2 little piles of pecan shells there on a piece of stainless steel. Now I'm gonna put the grate in, and then we're gonna put some stuff on the grate and start cooking. And I got the gas on the bottom. I ended up having to put that other piece of rim that I had inside because it was too close to the fire. That was sitting too, the stainless was too close to the fire, and it put fire up here. And so where my gas is, where the air comes in at, it was on fire. And so I turned it off and I moved it. And yep, here we go. Rack in. Now I'm gonna put the lid on and let it just kind of smolder and smoke and do what it's gonna do for a little bit. Then I'll put the meat and everything else on in a little bit. Cracked it, gave it a little bit of air. Temperature doesn't seem to be moving too much yet. Oh, but I can feel the heat. So can that little spider right there. You can't see it, but it's on there.
Verily I say unto
These
you,
little,
that ye which
that
have
is
followed
hot.
me in the regeneration from the Son of Man
But
to sit in the
see
throne
how
of glory,
when I cut the barrel, I cut it, and then I just cut little notches in it and bent it like that, and I put it. You seen how I had it, but so that that lid sits on there, getting a little bit of smoke out of it.
Shall receive an
I don't know if you can see it or not,
and shall inherit everlasting
but I'm getting a little bit of smoke. And for the rust that you see there, I use vegetable oil. I got a bottle with one of those pump spray bottles that you use for the yard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that with some old oil that went rancid and no good no more. And vegetable oil basically. And I use that and I'll spray it down while it's hot. And that'll kind of bake it into the metal. And it'll protect it so that like all the rust that you see, when after I spray it, you'll see how it takes care of it. But yeah, I did another grill that I made, and I spray it every time I use it. I spray it down, and that thing it's probably at least a good 13 years old. No rust on it nowhere, but it's not here, so I can't show it to you. Can you see the smoke rolling out of there? It's not thick smoke blowing in my face now, but smoke nonetheless.
Behold, there went out a sower.
Yeah, it's working. It's working like I thought it would, kind of. Pretty much working like I thought it would. I'm enjoying it. I got a pizza in there right now. It's just hanging around 200 degrees. Haven't seen it go above that. Just stand around 200. Got the bottle grill oil, and I just sprayed down my barrel while it's still warm. And then that oil will just run down because it's hot. The barrel's warm, and so it just runs down. Spread across the top and it runs down and coats the whole thing pretty much. So that's how I preserve my grill, my barrel. And I just take and I label it. Make sure you label your oil, because if you tint windows and you go and grab that and think, oh, and you go spraying that on your windows, you're going to be upset because you're going to have to clean it all off and it's going to be a pain in the butt. There's my pizza.
But you say no,
and there's my ashes. They're turning white.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, you can hear it's all crispy.
It's done. Yeah, cool. I took the ashes off one side and put them all on, or the things and put them all on one side. It's still pretty warm. Cool.
Yeah.
It worked. But it didn't go over 200 degrees. 200 degrees was my max pressure temperature. In hindsight, I should have put that thermometer in the top, because when I put the grate in and out, it sticks in so far to where I have to kind of be careful when I'm going in and out. I can't just go straight up and down. I didn't think about that when I put that there in the side. I should have put that in the top.